And once again, we finally join back to our ongoing game of Call of Cthulhu Down Darker Trails / Deadlands. Our party is in...
Music's a little loud.
There it is.
Our party is in Coldwater, Kansas in June 2nd, 1876. Don't ask me what day it is. It's probably like a Saturday. And the Danger 6 is in
Layer
the
base,
basement of
Danger 6.
As in the basement of the good doctor's recently inherited bank, and started to look through the inheritance that he got, the physical items at least, and in looking at a particularly nice piece of firearms hardware, something has happened and a ruckus is occurring upstairs. We are missing one of our intrepid troopers today, so that's just the way it goes.
The person who brought down death and destruction on all of
That's
us.
who's raining down death and destruction to everyone.
Yep.
I say we kill him first.
Let's appease the gods.
So, footsteps, quite a few of them above you, indicating on the main floor of the bank. Gunshots and screams outside. Some people, if I recall, I know Christopher, you have moved to pretty much at the base of the stairs, kind of looking up, gun a-ready. What are the rest of you doing? Positioning, whatevering?
Well, I would say just to be clear, at the top of the stairs in the bedroom, just for your information, there is a double-barreled shotgun that is loaded, which I'd very much like to get to, but I don't think I can.
Well, let's have a raise of hands. Who's armed?
I am.
Okay.
Oh,
So everybody's at least packing some pistolabre of some sort.
Right. Gunslinger doesn't go anywhere without his weapons, without his irons.
Probably very wise.
I can assure you, he's not wise.
So we have Christopher more or less at the base of the stairs looking up. There's thumping now happening. You can hear what sound like fists of some sort kind of pounding on the upstairs newly installed heavy oaken door that leads to the basement. Where would everybody else like to be?
Doctor, can you point out where the secret escape tunnel is?
Yeah, we hadn't quite installed that one yet.
Damn it.
I will bring my chair forward since it was reclining up against the wall.
Okay.
I will put the cap on my flask and put it back in to my inside of my jacket. Stand up, draw both of my irons, and start walking towards the basement doors.
All
Or
right.
to the base of stairs where Barnett is.
As will I.
Let's see.
What does the pounding at the door sound like?
A heavy thumping as though there are multiple people pounding their fists against the door.
Do we hear a faint?
No, you do not hear. Okay.
I've got good ears, so.
Yeah. Both Vance and Chris, give me listen rolls.
When I do that at advantage. Where's my listen? That one just makes it. I will take the hard success.
There you go. Good.
Actually, I took keen vision, not great hearing.
But you still have a listen capability.
That's true. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, because I'm at the bottom of the stairs. I thought it was.
Yes.
Yay! All right, 31 out of something, which is probably a success. Yeah, that is a hard success.
Okay, cross-referencing that, your listen versus your experience in the Hidden Box Canyon.
Oh, God.
These are whatever's pounding upstairs against the door is not making the same tonality and noises as what came out of the mine in the that hidden box.
That's a
What
good
is
thing, right?
How does the great oaken door open?
Yeah.
Does it open into the room or does it open into the stairwell?
It would open into the stairwell because we have it barred on the inside. We're playing with the bar on the inside.
Ah,
So probably did not install the bar. Well, I guess we probably would have. But yeah, there's a bar across the door leading down. Actually, we probably didn't put the bar down because we were just kind of going up and down, right?
We did a dumb luck roll, wasn't it, just to figure out if we
closed
closed it?
We did a dumb luck roll to make sure that we closed it, not
No.
that we barred it.
Yeah.
And
I don't
I'll
think
have
we
to
barred
say-
it.
I have to say, if we've been moving stuff in and out, we wouldn't have barred it. We wouldn't have
I
been
agree- I
expecting
agree
this
with
to happen.
Right. So the door also had a sort of basic handle lock kind of on it, and you can start hearing. Barnett, you definitely are starting to hear a little bit of cracks and such from the door, as though there's a limited amount of time that more simplistic door handle and bolt of the door is going to hold up.
All right, gentlemen.
What is? Did we advertise free nachos?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Gunshots outside, breaking of glass noises upstairs.
Oh God.
Come on, they're breaking my
Is-
stuff. Let's go.
how much? Okay, I'm going to head up the stairs.
Okay.
Looking at the door, how much room is there behind the door? So if I opened it,
Oh, it's pretty much door stairs.
ah,
There's no particular landing space.
so I would most likely get smooshed behind said
Yeah,
door.
yeah. If there is a pressing of whatever beyond that door, and that is suddenly released upon, there'd be lots of tumbling almost immediately down the stairs.
Well, gentlemen, we have two choices. We can wait till that door breaks open, which, if my hearing's correct, isn't going to take that long. At least that way, we're not going to get swarmed if we try to open the door itself, which I'm guessing there's at least 3 or 4 people behind that. At least we'd be in a position to hopefully thin out the herd, as much as I don't want to say that, but it sounds like it's getting rowdy upstairs. And I think we're probably in the best spot right now where we have a natural choke point
I
to
agree.
deal
I
with
agree.
the throng.
Uh,
I'm sorry, doctor. I hope you have insurance.
All right, I have money to buy another door. I hope they don't trash the upstairs. But when they get the door open, I say, "Oh, go ahead."
So this
Should
is
I-
this is definitely a beating. It's not a beating of let me in, let me in. It's just I want to see what's throughout this door on the other side of this door, and I'm going to get through it by gum. There's no associated shouting, panic from
No, you're
behind
not
the
hearing
door.
any sort of screams or voices in distress saying, "Let me in, let me in."
Okay, then I'm not going to have any problem shooting whoever comes through that door.
I forgot. Did Greg? Did
Your stuff?
yeah? Did he turn in his? Did he return that revolver? Or is he still holding on to it?
He is still holding on to it.
I'm going to yell out at the door. If you back up, I'll open it and see if it stops.
Okay. Still thumpity 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 thump.
Okay.
so much for reasoning with them.
Oh, maybe they can't hear him.
Mr. Larkin, just roll me a percentage roll.
Okay. Oops. How
Make
about
it
an 11?
Rolled an 11.
Except
okay.
you wanted to roll high.
Oh, yeah. That
You
was
hear Van or Gustav go, huh? Yeah. Back up if you want us to open up the door. Or wait, hold on. No, wait. Back up. At that point, the thumping stops.
all right. I kind of look down the door and go, Gustav, you want to explain something? And I put my hand on the handle.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm only with the double shot pistol at this point. I've holstered the other one so I can operate with door with other hand.
well, you were kind of making a command there, and I kind of got to thinking, when I pulled that first trigger and I got that weird whatever that I described, right? I did say, "Come serve me."
Why don't you give the
To
command of everyone to stop what they're doing?
So yeah, so whatever's upstairs, maybe they're literally just trying to come to serve me.
And clearly they're reasonable people by their actions.
Well, then this is your party, boy.
I'm not sure they're people.
What did I say about things to do today? Raising the dead is one of them.
Yeah.
Why don't you come on up here and I'll open the door for you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he kind of winds his way upstairs, and he says, "Everybody out there, stand still." And he kind of nods to you, and he's still got his gun out.
I'll step back, not looking through the doorway, but open it so that he can.
Right. And you open the door. It opens a little bit easier than you expected. You can see that the lock was close to giving way.
Wow.
You could have also, when you were up there, you could have put the bar up.
No.
Right. But yeah. So the door pulls open. Chris, Vance, and I'll roll for Gustav. Please do a sand roll.
Just trying not to look, but oh well.
Oh, made it easy.
All right.
36 out of what is my current sand? 71. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 out of 81.
I rolled a 28, so for Gustav. There are 4 sort of initially, because I believe at this point we're in pretty far into the evening, yes. And
I don't know.
We have lunch. We had lunch delivered, not dinner.
oh, was that lunch? Okay.
Was that was that the fried chicken?
The fried chicken was lunch.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I mean, it took you a while to put up the copper plates and all that kind of stuff and such. So we'll call it early evening. So there's still some decent light upstairs, but it is sort of in the shadows, just because you probably didn't leave any of the hurricane lanterns going or anything like that on the main floor, just because that's kind of dangerous to leave that style of lighting going while you're not, at least in the immediate vicinity. So they are definitely human shapes, but they are standing rigidly still, and they are monochromatic. They are the color of the
Ash.
They are basically sort of tan and brown. As are their clothes, their face. A few of them are wearing hats. The hats
Sort of like sepia tone.
So they look like people, but uniformly the color, in effect, of street dirt.
All right.
And they're standing rigidly still.
Gustav, you want to step in and I'll follow?
Yeah, so he steps up the last few steps necessary to get up to the actual door, and then steps into the hallway. There's a little bit of space because he did say step back, and you come up as well, and both you and he see not just the four there. There's another, as you kind of look down the hallway of the main floor going out to the lobby and such. The lobby is full of these things. There's at least another 10.
What the hell?
Beyond that, you see the good sheriff and the new deputy, and they are shooting at more of these things that are gathered right by the door. And you sort of blam blam, and then all of a sudden you see one of these things just kind of go and turn into mud and just slush to the floor. And
Hey, Gustav, tell them to all go into the lobby.
everybody head to the lobby. Everybody
Thanks.
go. And they start, the ones that are in the hallway start meandering into the front foyer lobby thing of the old bank.
I'll yell out to the sheriff, hold your fire.
That you,
Oh.
Vance?
Yeah. We're trying to figure this out, but don't keep shooting in here because I'm afraid you're going to hit one of us.
Yeah, you see several bullet holes even in the hallway dug in. You hear sort of one last gunshot. One more kind of gets splattered, and you hear the sheriff shout out to somebody who you don't particularly know. Is like, God damn it! We said stop shooting. Everything's kind of quiet now.
All right. Hey, guys, you want to come up?
Yeah, I was about to say,
We
All
got to
right.
figure out how to
I gotta
explain
follow
this.
Vance up to provide cover. But yeah, everyone come to the lobby.
All right.
Okay. Well, you can't quite all fit into the lobby just because there are
Bunch of
14
monochromatic
things here.
things.
But nonetheless, you can get kind of. You hadn't removed the bank teller section yet, so you can kind of get there. And at this point, Doctor, the hallway's clear enough where you could go upstairs and get that shotgun. Matter of fact, there is sort of an overlook on the third floor that looks down into the lobby. That would be a good vantage in case these things start to reanimate again.
Go nuts. I'm gonna head out front.
Okay, you'll have to dodge between a bunch of these thingamabobbers.
Which means I get to get up close and personal to them. Yay.
That is true.
By the way, given all this is coming out, I guess I came out and I just made my sand check because I assumed that was imminent.
Yes.
So
All right.
I did actually make it. I rolled a 19, so that was exciting.
I made it also.
Excellent. Good Doctor, if you could go ahead and give a sand roll once you get up to the main floor.
Well, that's not natural.
If you need me to roll again, since I'm going to get up and close and personal. And
Yeah, as you get super duper close to them,
Yeah.
yeah, please.
I'm good.
Oh. Nope. 86.
86. I'm afraid you are now down 2 sanity points.
Oh no. In that case, I will kind of maneuver through them at a expedited rate, trying to slip between them, bumping into them if need be, just to get out and be like,
Yeah,
Fresh air sounds good about now, huh?
Because I have the heebie-jeebies now.
Yeah, I mean, you could have went out the back door, but you know.
I was thinking of getting over to the sheriff and his deputy first and seeing what the carnage was outside.
Okay, yeah. You step outside. The sheriff is definitely, you know, he's still got his rifle trained on everything. The new deputy is there as well.
Currently reassessing his job choices.
There are several people from the town have stopped and are you know looking at this peculiar event. Whoever was doing a lot of the screaming seems they've probably ran away. Is
Good.
your assessment? And I guess the braver ones with weapons are the ones that are remaining. Give me a give me a intelligence / idea roll. No, sorry, no roll.
Oh. All right. I will let you take this.
Ha. Interesting. All right, give me one moment. So you one second. So in a very sort of fancy, read expensive horse and carriage, you recognize Melville Watts, and Melville's son in a carriage, looking at this scene with a bemused look on their faces. Not that they even particularly, they don't look concerned. They have not drawn any weapons. But you're absolutely sure that's Melville Watts.
Who's Melville Watts again?
Seems
Own-
familiar.
owner of the Barty Ranch, one of the big ranches that has a fair amount of political influence to the south and to the west of here. Let's see.
So
Yes, so and you see almost as you make eye contact, they sort of flick the horse and seem to deliberately vacate the scene.
I will, come out with, hands up at this point. Be like, sorry, Sheriff. Small snafu on our part.
On y'all's part.
What happened out here?
Well, I haven't had much time to exactly do any interviews, but from what little I got, had some very panicked people run up saying that the dead were rising from the ground and for some reason attacking the old bank.
Yeah.
They don't frankly look much like what we've kind of read a little bit about concerning these risen dead, though.
I will look at the pile of, I guess near the door, the pile of mud. and be like, no, these are some sort of earthen. They're just like
Construct?
constructs made out of mud or of dirt.
Dirt people?
Yeah, they certainly
Uh,
seem to turn into mud if you shoot them a couple times.
Yeah, it turns out um, we
what you said.
accidentally triggered a cursed item.
We have cursed items in there.
Oh no, we had a cursed item.
Something we found in that other mine.
Yeah, something that we came
so-
across, and one of our boys was working with it and accidentally triggered it.
We were trying to destroy it, and I guess we weren't successful quick enough.
Oh, all right. Well,
We're going to try to figure out what this is and then get rid of it.
all right. Well, I mean, the only thing they really seem to have actually done is a bit of personal property destruction on Dr. Trout's establishment here. Otherwise, that just scared the bejeebus out of a bunch of people.
Oh, trust me, it scared the bejeebus out of us too. And I am rightfully sorry about all this.
Well, maybe I'll give you a list of maybe the most shaken up people, and you can send them some flowers or something.
And I'll go and make personal apologies to people in town over this.
That would actually be something that Walt.
Yeah,
potentially
we'll probably send.
do a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm the population.
Yeah.
Not right this second, but this would be.
No, I know.
Uh,
That does make sense.
yeah.
We might have our Silver Tongue head over to the tavern and explain to the townsfolk probably later tonight what had occurred.
Or perhaps also maybe considered tomorrow morning at the church.
Oh, so it's
Tomorrow
Saturday.
Sunday. Today's Saturday.
Okay, so it's Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. Church would be a fine time to have our friend regale the tale.
Yeah. All right. So the sheriff looks over to Liam and says, "All right, well, Liam, you take that side of the road. I'll take this side of the road. We'll just kind of hush people off from this little section here. We'll divert traffic, and we'll let these folks hopefully resolve this peculiar incident." And
Thank you much, Sheriff. Thank you much.
Liam says, "Surely we will," and he heads to the less busy side of the road, and sort of
All moving.
sort of stands there with his hips to his side, brandishing his nice new overtly shiny deputy belt or a star, and seems to make an overtly large play of his duty and involvement of the next peculiar event in the Larrabee's Dangerous Six events.
I will continue to stand outside of the place until the crowds have dispersed.
Need to get him a certificate. I survived the Larrabee 6.
That's right. So
The desert flowers need that.
so the crowd, after some fair cajoling from the sheriff, dissipate back to whatever they're doing. You can hear kind of whispers, darndest thing. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's something strange with those fellas after all. I mean, they're good, but and it kind of.
And our local legend increases.
Uh-oh. Damage control. We're damage
Yeah.
control.
As they're moving people away, I'll go ahead and shut the door so that no one can see in the
Okay,
establishment.
there's still 3 of these thingambobbers really out on the
Oh.
boardwalk. They were kind of waiting to press to get in. So there's
So can
Can you guys go inside or squeeze in there?
tell those
they
people-
literally, I mean, some of them have their eyes open. As you kind of look at them closely, they don't, I mean, they look like maybe like a 10th grader, first or second attempt at a full size, like clay sculpture of a person. You know, clothing included, hats included, belts, shoes included, but it's all a little bit rough, a little bit, it's not great work.
Huh.
But they're also not generic looking. A couple of y'all have been in town for quite a while, yes?
Yeah,
11
Yeah.
years.
So
that's 6 months for me.
Yeah, so anybody who's been in town, let's put the market at 6 months. For 6 months or longer, give me no rolls, please.
Yep,
Success.
hard success.
A success.
A success?
A success.
I had a hard success.
Okay. Oh, you had a hard success?
Mhm.
They're more inside.
Walt, give me a sand roll, please.
Oh, fuck. Oof. Made it just.
Okay, that's good. As you kind of make your way through this, through the lobby and such,
Oof, made it by 1. Oof, sorry.
you actually kind of do a double take, and you recognize one of these people statue things as somebody who you interviewed about 5 months ago,
Uh-oh.
and he died later of an accident in town. He got trampled by a horse.
And now he's back. Okay. I'm gonna stop, and I assume I already did the double take.
Yeah.
So since I made my sand check barely, I'll characterize. Since I barely made it, I'm gonna just be like, shake my head, pull out a cigarillo, and keep walking.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I made it by 1.
Vance kind of, he's now made it out here as well. He's new, so he doesn't recognize any of these now statues. And he goes, "What do you think? Maybe." He pulls out the gun. He doesn't pull the trigger, but he just kind of.
Oh, you mean Gustav?
Gustav. Sorry. Briefly closes his eyes and says, "Every one of you into the lobby." And all of a sudden, there's a shifting of them all, and the last of the ones slightly in the hallway move into the lobby, and the last 3 that were on the boardwalk move into the lobby, and they're all kind of shuffling around. And he says, "Freeze! All of y'all freeze!" And they all stop again.
Gustav, since you seem to have, for lack of a better term, a rapport with these things, I may be so bold to suggest a course of action to be asking them who they are, what they're doing, and I think your last command should be, can you all go back where you came from so we don't panic the nice people of this town any further?
Well, I asked them who they were, and they all shouted out their names at once. It was not a comfortable
Did you
thing.
ask them what they were doing?
They just were. I did in my mind, and they just wanted to know what my bidding was.
So this goes back to when you first thought, when you grabbed the gun and said, I believe you said, serve me, I apologize, mine's been elsewhere. So,
I get the
with a
feeling
natural
that
thing, you think me say I release you from my service at this time? And will you think that they would go home to wherever that might be?
we can give her a whirl.
I think that would be the quickest resolution to this conundrum. And then we can talk about you and your magic gun.
He closes his eyes and points the gun up in much the same position he did the first time, just because he doesn't know if that's part of the deal or not. And says, I release you from my servitude. Go back to whence you came.
You
Yeah.
dudes.
Pretty much right when he says that, they all slump onto the floor, into piles of dirt and mud, in effect.
Doctor,
And
you might
mud-
want to get some house cleaning services in your.
The mud seems to slowly start working itself as though the floor was at a slight angle, even though it's relatively true laying floor. The mud slowly kind of slurps and slides through the front door down into the street, over the boardwalk and down into the street, and just sort of settles and blends in back into the dirt of the street. Takes about 5 minutes or so, but
All right, I make my sand roll with that little bit of weird knowledge there.
yeah, disturbing enough. Everybody make a sand.
Damn!
Did that one.
Made it.
Holy shit! I rolled an 86 again. I made it by 1 again.
Do it.
I have an 87 sand. I rolled an 86 twice. That freaks me out.
Well, the third time's a charm.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
third time. Oof.
Yeah.
So, if I may make a polite request, Gustav, let's be careful what you say when you're holding that thing.
Well,
In fact, why don't you just holster that bad boy?
I'll
Yeah.
Put
tell
a
you,
flap on it.
why don't we put that back in the box? And not.
You know, I kind of like that idea. Let's put this thing back in the box. Yeah.
Anyone got a sticky note that says "Do not use"?
Stuff like that. Stuff like that comes with a cost.
And he almost leads the way back down the stairs to put the gun back into the one box with the silhouette of the 5 other weapons. And he kind of looks really carefully. Hey, did you guys notice this? And he kind of points at the silhouettes of where 5 other weapons should be. Who would like to take a look?
Oh, I'll be stupid enough to do that.
Just give me a spy hit.
That should be easy. Yeah. No, just regular success, no hard.
All right, yeah. And one second. Now you recall as he put the gun had in its white bone grip a red circle with a symbol on it. And
The torch thing.
Vance, you recall that symbol as being one of the symbols that you saw over at the Providence mine in gigantic form. Does anybody recall this?
Well, I wasn't at the Providence mine.
Right. More specifically, Greg, do you recall this?
Yes. Well, I have the illustrations that are marked in my thing. In my
Right.
little, I do all the drawings inside of my little folding notebook.
So looking at this, Chris points out that there are 6 different symbols placed roughly where the red dot, where the one symbol is on the one gun that Gustav is about ready to replace back into the holder. And each one you can see a slight impression in the felt where that symbol would be properly. And you can actually, if you kind of hold it next to the light, maybe if Dr. Gabriel would pull out his fancy white blue super bright light that he has,
Wait.
you might be able to discern the different patterns of each of the
Yeah, can we get some more light in here, Doc?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The lantern's down there, so we'll light it up. Goes Brock lantern.
All right, so I'm going to throw this into the chat, and you all can just look at the symbols as you would like to. Come on.
Have these with the other symbols.
Oh, it's more like an elder sign.
All right, those are sent. The one that's
wow.
labeled as symbol 4 is the one
Shit.
that is on the weapon that Gustav handled.
Get to the right.
A is for Aaron.
Okay.
So I'm looking at these. Do I see one that would have been corresponding to the Etna mine, specifically waterish?
Let's see.
Oh.
Give me a. Give me an idea roll.
Critical success.
Girl success. Okay, you're fairly confident that none of these 6 symbols showed up on anything that you saw in Etna,
Hmm.
which I suppose in and itself is enlightening.
Now this is interesting. 1, 3, and 4 were definitely seen at the other mine in the tailings. Now, one of them that had the most intricate design looks more like a combination of 2 and 5.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
Now you got to remember, you were looking at a extreme angle,
Yeah.
so it might have looked a little bit different from way overhead.
Neither drum.
And you know, they might have been an interpretation. There might have been just some rockfall, for all you know. But you have a valid point. The symbols don't match up precisely. Now, the 2 boys at the mine, though, also very much said that they were not the ones, you recall.
Oh, that did the original tailings?
No, they were not the ones for, oh, wait, this would be something that Christopher should remember.
Yeah, I don't.
I remember a conversation that I overheard Bill mentioning. He says we are not the ones, but the 6 are calling. Now, how many slots?
There are a total 6, yeah.
And you're saying, Vance, that you saw some of these symbols in the tailings at Providence?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been an important thing to relate. Yeah, which I don't know if that got. Yeah.
So
And
there's
'cause here are the sketches that I did, and I'll show them to the whole group.
Be right back.
And so my sketches are of 1, 3, 4, and it looks like a conglomeration of 5 and 2 mixed
Yes.
together.
Edward, give me
Yes.
an idea roll.
I just barely made it.
Just barely made it. All right, hold on 1 second. It's going to take me a short time to find. Oh, there we go. Never mind. It didn't take all that long. You recall now, with very little clarity, that you've seen at least one book in your travels that has these symbols in it. And the only thing
Do I-
you can recall, and you don't know if it's the name of the book, author, or some perhaps association, maybe it was the library you were in, but you recall a single word: Krieg. Kreig.
All right, I'll relate that, gentlemen. I think I've seen these before somewhere, associated with the word Krieg. In the library. Krieg. Where?
Does anybody speak German?
I know what my character does, but I know what the word means.
Yeah, I speak a little German, but my character doesn't.
Yeah, no, don't speak German.
I know, I'm a dick.
Although one could argue with my background in the military, I might be familiar with what Krieg means.
If we did say, if it was actually German, it would be Krieg, right?
Yeah.
Kreig.
Yeah, Kreig.
Yeah, correct.
Craig.
Krieg. Not that I speak it. Not that I parlay Germanese.
Yes. For those who were in the military, actually, although Christoph, you were in the what rank did you hold, Christoph?
Sergeant.
Sergeant. And Doctor, what you were like a colonel or something,
Major.
correct?
Major.
Okay.
But I didn't go to military school. I went to medical school.
Oh, okay,
proceeded
that's
from
true. Right. So,
I should also mention I'm from Wisconsin, where a lot of Germans settled.
let's see here. Why don't we
He knows
go?
all, he knows all the verses. Bratwurst, vice versa.
First,
Chris, I'll let you do a history roll with advantage. It's not much, but there it is.
well, I have a 5% chance of doing this. So,
With advantage, so you get to roll twice.
well, the first one is an 82, so no.
Oh, that's no good.
Holy crap. 5.
See, that whole advantage thing works out occasionally. Yes, so you recall somewhat astonishingly, without having to reference whatever, basically Krieg meaning, a fight or war.
Or
Depending on the context. But yes, so fight or war. Do you relate that to the rest of the party?
oh, I said, gentlemen, Edward, you said Krieg.
I did.
Comes back to me that means war in German or fight or something like that. I don't suppose the book's author was Clausewitz.
Maybe.
Edward, don't you have a set of English to other languages dictionaries back at the?
So the town hall would have some basic translation stuff. Now that whole what you think is maybe a Norwegian thing, Robber,
Yeah,
you know,
possibly.
but certainly probably a German to English, English to German cross reference is probably there. You gotta remember, you know, German in this area is probably the second most spoken language. Um, so
Just not by any of us.
right, yeah.
Right.
But it's still, it is it's a pretty common language. So there's probably a fair amount of documents and such that are collected in that language.
Or possibly a local speaker.
Oh, almost certainly. Um, I would imagine talking to any bartender will point you to somebody who speaks German. In the context that you recall seeing these symbols, book, the word Krieg, although you weren't reading a German book, so it wasn't like referencing these to war, right? It might have been in the title of the book. So you get the impression now that you might be looking for a title or an author with that as potentially part of their name.
Okay.
So yeah, and as I say, the rest of the inspection of the impression of where these weapons go, they are identical. So the gun that Gustav was handling could fit certainly in any of the six. Now that he's kind of it's this one here, he carefully puts the gun back into that particular spot, which most of you all recall was the spot it was in when you initially opened up the cases.
So what we need to do is we need to find the other guns. Now that's number 4, correct?
I mean, arbitrarily, yeah, I guess.
Well, I'm going to call that, since that's if we count them from the top to the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you said that he had symbol 4 on his weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He goes, "Holy shit, Doc!" And he holds out his right hand, and in the palm of his hand, that symbol is impressed into the palm of his hand.
Is it the same size as what was on the weapon?
Yes.
Where the weapons, where does it appear as if the symbol on there rubbed off on his hand?
It's welting.
Oh, so it's burned. Okay, well, let me get my first aid kit out.
I'd say that you just bonded with that weapon there.
Well, it is a mighty fine weapon. That's not what you meant, though.
No.
Ooh.
I think.
And he pales a little bit.
Oh.
But he rolls an 08, so.
The gun didn't like me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with what it did to me, but I'm okay with not.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking.
I did handle the gun though, didn't I? Before I.
No.
You were well. You had a pair of light gloves on. You ever so slightly feather touched it, so you did come in contact with it, but it was just the barest of touches.
Okay. Well,
but apparently it was a touch too much.
That will be the only touch I will done because
It wasn't an invisible touch.
No, apparently not. Phil Collins.
And let's see here, Doctor, you pull out some healing salve, and kind of, a little dab will hopefully do them, kind of thing.
That'll be 35 cents.
Go easy on that stuff. It's not free.
But he is now down 1 hit point. Oh, so on a totally side note, I've been watching some D&D stuff. Do you know that they changed the name of Dungeon Master? It's no longer Dungeon
Yeah,
Master.
I had heard. I can't
What?
remember what they changed it to.
Oh God, is it something woke?
Yes.
Yes.
It is Dungeon Manager now.
Oh, no.
And hit points no longer mean hit points. They are now health points.
Make it
I
stop.
think you just
Make it stop.
So, yeah.
So I remember when they used to be called pips.
Eh,
Well, pips are what's on a die.
No, they used to be called how many?
Those would be 5 pips. But so yeah. D&D has become much more woke now.
Embraced the suck.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
There are other games that called them health points as well. So
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me so much.
it hasn't always been Dungeon Master. It's been, a lot of places it's like Game Master or Keeper.
I mean,
It's not the end of the world.
No, keeper should be
most-
changed to temporary administrator.
and really, if you think about it, no one ever says Dungeon Master. They say DM.
DM. Yeah.
Say dungeon master. You don't call it the DM guy. You call it the dungeon master guy.
Yeah, but that's the only time you use the full word, Mark. It doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess if you have the book.
Elias's middle name is Dungeon Master. I'm just kidding.
Well, that's a.
But
That's very unfortunate.
I thought that I was just like, were those changes needed? That just seemed very.
Well, they got rid of racial features too. The orcs
Yep.
are no longer lower charisma. Everybody has the same stats. you
Yeah.
know. So in older versions, it was like women were weaker but had higher dexterity, and they got rid of all that.
What about homemaking? Does everybody get that as a
Don't-
basic skill?
Don't go there.
Very-
Oh my
Anyway,
Here we
God.
go,
okay, so
recording.
you've learned a bit about the placement of the guns and that
By the way, make sure you take that out of the recording.
Gustav is
I did not assign a gender to that comment.
marked in some way, shape, or form.
I will go ahead and make illustrations of all of these symbols into my notebook.
As will I, because
I have a
am the
feeling I'm going to
journalist.
be going back to Box Canyon.
Ugg
Well,
Mountain.
you do get the impression though that these symbols probably should not be reproduced into a publication.
That would be my journalist take on. Okay.
Um,
All right. I will duly noted. All
You
right.
know what you should do? You should stare at them long enough.
I already did that once. Right? That's so like December, January.
So, Edward, you were talking about maybe, I think you and the doctor were talking right before the first of the 3 gunshots rang out from that pistol, that maybe taking a chunk of time, maybe a marathon translation session or something along those lines to start getting a better
Catalog.
understanding of the notations of these items, as opposed to just having sort of a title.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that might be relatively high on your list of things to do once before you decide to start mucking around with any more of these potentially tantalizing items.
Indeed. Yeah, it's probably best.
Unless somebody feels that they absolutely, it's like, I gotta touch that quill pen for some reason.
Shiny red button.
Let's go ahead and set up the panels around the outside of the room, and Get that. Get it
I
all.
Yeah.
really want to lick that mirror.
That's right. Lick the mirror.
Mm.
Read through the newspaper articles.
I'm gonna put that noose around my neck.
Also, I mean, the doctor's still hurt, right?
Yeah, he got hit pretty hard.
yeah.
Do I feel like that special skill of mine might help him?
That's an interesting question.
So I've probably shared enough with you that I don't trust Ghost Rock.
Well, I wouldn't do anything without permission, but
Yeah,
you can get an idea
There are
of something
boundaries.
by looking at it. I feel like I can kind of make people better if they're injured.
Yeah, that would be dependent on the good doctor. Insofar as
The doctor is reflexively opposed to using that kind of power for healing because it can go very, very wrong.
yeah, there's deep history in that. So,
All right,
but
just offering.
valid point and something that certainly in in a gunfight or something that will probably it's like, well, he's going to die otherwise, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
Just putting that out there that's something I feel like I could probably do.
very valid. Okay, so a bit more time is put forward to well, putting stuff away. You almost get the impression that maybe some bookcases or something down here might be a good idea or something.
What about that Swedish guy that moved into town, Sven Ikea?
He's got some really good ideas on modular furniture. That's
And the weirdest thing, he's named a bookshelf after a son, Billy.
Really? His other son, Ivar.
So okay, you spend 15-20 minutes kind of tidying up. It is
Doc, you got some weird stuff here.
It's not mine, it's my uncle's. But yeah, it's definitely something that there's some. I think we need to be very careful with these items until we have a better understanding. And here's the other thing. The reason I said what I did out in the street about, that it was something we found in the mine is we don't want to get a reputation for being the troublemakers or the dabblers in a cult, because when the lynch mob and the torches and pitchforks come, we don't want to be when something else odd happens, we don't want to be blamed for it because we have a history of that. So
No, and that's why I tried to play it off that it was a cursed item that we were trying to, get rid of.
yep, absolutely. So
But the thing that disturbs me the most is make sure that if that gun does something, make sure that noose stays in a box.
You don't want to tie it on?
Is there anything that you would want Edward to maybe put on the top of the list of the reading/investigatingness?
Otherwise, I'll just start with whatever. It's all pretty interesting to me.
I'll take a look at the list here.
Start with the mirror.
We've got
Start with the biggest things.
Well, the biggest things would be the big ass statue.
Yeah, but that's just a big
ass statue.
statue.
but that's pressing.
Yeah.
With blood, you can.
None of us are Jewish, so we don't really know.
Certainly difficult to steal.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll just steal this.
Was that my lower intestine?
That's right. I'll just slip that into my pocket. Wait, hold on. No.
Was that? Are you? Is that your lower intestine, or are you just excited to see me?
Let's go with Norton's Bugle.
Okay.
Norton's Bugle and box 6. There's
Yeah,
also
it's-
some miscellaneous newspapers.
It's the Larrabee Danger 6.
There are miscellaneous newspapers. Okay. So, Edward, where would you like to set up and start doing your thing?
You can set up right here. Don't see any reason to remove the items from this protected area.
Do you need privacy to do your thing?
Not necessarily.
Maybe a little bit better light, but bring down an extra hurricane lantern or two. There is a table down here and a couple chairs. And it's actually in some strange ways, it's pleasantly cool because it's midsummer now. It's and so being in a stone basement is actually somewhat refreshing.
Does that mirror? You said the mirror is always cold. Does it actually? It doesn't actually radiate cold. It's only if you touch it, right?
No, there's I mean, if you get very near it, and I'm not, I don't mean very near as in like, whatever. If you're standing pretty close to it, you can feel a temperature shift. If you're more than, if you're standing like 3 feet away, you don't notice anything.
So it's basically you're in a cool basement. You sit your back to it a few feet away. It's like you got your own air conditioning, supernatural air conditioning.
Well, that's true. I mean, all you need is somebody, doing the waving of the, Nile fans, and just give you a pleasant breeze. Did somebody pour liquid down the mirror?
I don't think we ever
I
did that.
rested my drink flask against it to cool it.
Okay, so but you didn't like.
I didn't pour anything on it. No.
Okay. I recall something with okay. All right. Okay,
Somebody remarked it was cold, and so I left it up there for a while, and then the whole gun thing started, and that's when I picked it back up.
Edward, give me your what have we been? Well, you got a direct skill in that, don't you? Yes, you do.
I do.
So
I do.
Go ahead and roll your ciphering skill.
You said most of the stuff was
10.
wrapped in papers, right? Newspapers.
So I got a hard success.
Okay, there was a box that literally everything was packed in basically hay.
Oh, okay.
But there was literally a box of newspapers.
Hey, Doc, would it be okay if I look through these newspapers to see if there's any mention of these articles in them? Does Doc have his microphone muted again?
I was eating Chinese food. You don't want to hear
Okay.
that. Yeah, maybe you and Larrabee, since Larrabee's a newspaper man, you might notice something peculiar about the typesetting.
Actually, more eyes, the better. I'll help you out, Vince, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we all
Wait a
just...
minute. Wait a minute, you can read?
Well, I owe you $1.
Less.
Damn it.
You win. I'll be like reaching in, like, here's the what?
You some bitch.
Of course he can read.
Newspapers.
How do you think he gets the wanted
Wanted
posters?
All right.
Well,
give me
but
a
You got to be
second.
careful. You may be part of the Smitty McCall gang.
All right, so we're working the Bugle. They're looking at the newspapers.
Hey, Doc, is it about time to order some food in?
So what would you like to buy us?
In that case, I'm not very hungry yet. I assume nobody else is. So. You cheap. It's the worst. He's from a wealthy family, but he's poor.
Okay, you pick up the newspapers, just I guess random ones, whatever
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. How many?
Is it the newspaper from this town for tomorrow?
No,
Wouldn't that be creepy?
no.
I think I would put that one
Walt's
back. And I would
Danger
leave this
6
place.
Walt's Danger 6 wiped out in
Old bank
What?
explodes.
What?
What?
3 people killed by massive paper cuts.
Hey, fellas, I'm going to go get us some dinner. I'll be back. Everybody stay here.
Christopher Barnett can read! Exclamation. Proven. Larrabee loses $1 in costly pet.
That's not the die I'm looking for. Here we go.
Oh God.
This
You know,
is
those of us who
one.
can't write.
Hickman stab to death in vicious quill accident. What?
7.
some point I need to prepare my notes for the damage control. I mean, church announcements tomorrow. Verily,
You-
there will be races from the dust and return to the dust. And we just saw that yesterday.
Okay. Walt, you pick up a newspaper, the Raleigh Times, and it is dated May 5th, 1865.
Okay, is that would have been right about the end of the war, a little after the end of the war, before the Weird West War, anyway.
And otherwise, every single article is intense. You can't even focus in on it. It's pure brain hurting gibberish.
Wow, that's like one of those programs that just like drops in like Latin in, to fill out.
It's like
fill
it's
pages.
out of focus. It's almost like swirled and out of focus. It's like one of those really annoying grok fractal programs that you might see today. It's
Okay.
intensely annoying. Please roll a sanity roll.
Oh, God damn it. Okay, that one I made easily. Thank you. I'm like wearing out. I'm like, it's like more sand checks in 2 hours, an hour and a half than like in 2 months.
You still lose 1 sanity point.
Son of a. All right. Yeah.
And give me a
6.
hold on.
Sure.
Give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Oh yeah, that'll be quite the accomplishment.
Hey, it's already happened once this session.
What?
Not with an 85. It ain't.
Well, if you use 83 luck points.
I'm going to the outhouse. Give me a roll. No, he just dug it deeper.
The toilet beast got you.
Oh, we laugh because we cry a little.
Christoph, Christopher, you pick up a copy of the Washington Post. Date, May 11th, 1865. Give me a sand roll, please.
Yep.
Let's just read the paper.
Lose 3 sanity, please.
Glad I'm not reading those papers.
Puts my current sanity at 78 if you want to mark it on the sheet.
You may also give a. Oh, you have a 0, so you cannot do a Mythos roll.
Nope.
But headaches are free.
I have not been blessed to get any points in that skill.
The proverbial blessed. Vance, you pick up a copy of the Chester County Times. It is dated May 26th, 1865. Give me a sanity roll, please.
Uh, 21 out of 70 or 68.
Excellent. You still lose 2, though.
Oh.
Now, for each of you who lost sanity on this, which would be everybody. Yeah, and you're a 0 in Cthulhu Mythos. So, actually, Walt, you're the only one eligible for this.
Okay.
Roll me a spot hidden, please. With disadvantage.
Okay. I gotta check. It's gonna be close. Ooh. With disadvantage, I made it exactly. Would have made it easily if it wasn't for Mr. Disadvantage, but okay.
You flip through that Raleigh newspaper.
Mhm.
It hurt. You did not enjoy it, but where you think there might have been like perhaps it's bordered like maybe an advertisement, like a teeny small advertisement, and it simply says, "Can you read this?"
Oh no, it doesn't say. Doesn't say reproduce, marry, and reproduce, live. Put on the right glasses and actually, I think the glasses you're wearing would work.
Your lucky number
Consume.
9, 32, 14.
Can you read this? Okay, I'm just gonna be like, just gonna make sure I actually read that.
You look at it again. It turns back into that utter painful gibberish.
Oh,
Another sanity roll for me.
son of a bitch. Yes, I could read it. I could read it. And wow. Okay, because my sand went by 1, I made my sanity exactly because I rolled an 86 for the 3rd time tonight.
Okay.
So don't take any more sand or I'm screwed. That's really
You actually do
bizarre.
not. You actually don't lose any sanity on this whatever round.
Mhm.
But hold on here. Make sure I'm on the right character sheet here.
86 is the magic number tonight. That's
Did you make either of those? You didn't make the Cthulhu Mythos roll, did you?
no, my Cthulhu Mythos is not exactly stellar, which is why I'm still here mentally.
Yeah. Give me that roll again, please.
All right. Oh. You can't influence it by using luck, right? 'Cause I'm actually only 7 away. Missed it by
Cthulhu Mythos cannot be changed.
In which
by-
case, in which case I missed by infinity.
Well. You read, "Your world is lost."
Okay. This is the Raleigh paper, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna file that away since I'm not gonna look at it again to confirm that it said your world is lost. I'm gonna go step outside and get some fresh air. I think at this point because I probably got a swimming headache and it's a very strange, surreal evening.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna go step outside, clear my head, and of course by smoking.
Sure. That's the best way.
Hey, Barnett, can you read this? I
It's
can't make
just a
heads or
bunch of-
tails out of
Hey,
this.
would you put this paper cut? Put a little lemon juice after that paper cut. Does that make it worse? Yeah, I did made it worse for me too. It's
I can't make heads or tails out of this.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of
Mm.
gibberish that gives me a headache. I think I'm done with this.
You should go outside and smoke with me.
All right. So you Edward and the doctor, you were looking into the bugle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep, I made my cryptography roll.
Right. All right. Okay, so the ledger definitely makes reference to this being Norton's bugle. It describes a relatively battered bugle, which, in your brief going through the boxes before you put it all away, yeah, it kind of sort of matches. It says that on one side one should find the words "Butterfield's Lullaby" engraved on it. Engraved on the other side should be the words "Day is gone."
Don't want to blow the bugle, please.
Doctor, you recognize "The Day is Gone" as a song that was often played on the battlefield. It is sung to the tune of taps. Da, 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 right? Um,
I'm sure I've heard that at some point.
Evidently, according to the notations that you're reading, Edward, uh, using the trumpet while playing The Day Is Gone, while somebody else sings the song to its conclusion, all 5 stanzas of the song, um, will set to rest any of the animated dead within hearing range of the singer and of the bugle.
Hmm.
Very useful.
For what? How is that useful?
Well,
Okay.
like so we see
Immediately
zombies.
putting down an army of the dead.
I mean, I get. Well, okay. Luckily, that doesn't
Rather
happen.
than-
That doesn't happen too often.
Are you sure about that?
I said too often.
It occurs to you that if this bugle were to get into the hands of either the North or the South armies, one of the armies could resume larger scale warfare again. One of the reasons why the North and South have stopped large scale battles is because the dead kept on rising beyond anything more than a small skirmish on the battlefield. If you had something that would quell this happening, it could certainly turn the tide of a living person's or a living war engagement.
Interesting.
Let the gravity of that sink in.
Yeah, is it? Aren't they still fighting?
Yes, it's turned more into sort of a Cold War, a war of espionage, a war of political, it's soft power type thing.
Yeah, unless you have this, in which
and
case,
A massive building of arms on both sides, so that once they figure it out, they'll have plenty of ammunition and shells and all the things necessary for war. The South has almost completely converted its old fleet into ironclads by now. The North has deployed at least 30 to 40 monitor style ships, no longer needing to buy them from Great Britain.
speaking of which, historically, so there's no blockade anymore, right?
No,
the
that was lifted
Be
in
hard
this
to enforce.
timeline. Once the war went sort of Cold War, both France and England have notionally recognized the South as their own government. When I say notionally, it's much like how we've acknowledged Taiwan, but not really. But we have kind of.
So it's like the embassy in Israel is in Jerusalem, but no, actually, kind of. Well, not really, because we don't want to offend people.
Right.
Mhm.
But we have something there, but we don't. But also in the line notes, it does give you the lyrics to "The Day Is Gone,"
It's useful.
which I will put in the chat. There you go. While you were looking up Norton's Bugle, you couldn't kind of help but to also read a little bit about the noose, just because a couple of your friends have already mentioned it, so you already got a little bit about the noose. It turns out that actually there are 2 nooses, one on top of the other in the box. You didn't notice the other one. One is described as Maladin's Hangman's Noose, and I'm just going after your role before as far as translation goes. Evidently, a 25-foot long heavy hemp rope, well oiled, tied in a hangsman's noose knot. Evidently, when held into the air, the noose will slightly tilt towards the closest dead person, animated or not.
Can you guys hear me okay?
I can hear you
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I just had an error message on my computer.
And yes, I do realize that I had the date a little bit off for Pierpont's Hangman's Noose, but we're just going to roll with the name. The other one's Pierpont Hangman's Noose. Evidently, one must slide the noose around one's own neck, and it will supposedly give the wearer the last 30 seconds of what the person of what a person saw before they died, if one is touching a dead body.
Not a person who's killed by the noose, right? Because in which case, did you be like, oh, I hope I don't soil myself. Oh, I hope I don't.
Followed up by a lot of choking.
Yeah.
It does say that using this noose will cause some mental strain.
Sand checkage.
Yeah.
Probably. Hmm.
Oh, using the bugle also fatigues the body and mind of the singer and the player.
Cool.
So reading those two, so you're getting the hang of the cipher. Really, what takes you the time now is cross-referencing the first ledger to determine what the key is in what seems to be largely based on the founding fathers' various manuscripts. It's often the first sentence of each of the Articles of Confederation, or of the Articles of the Federalist Papers, which you have largely memorized, or of just portions of the Constitution, that sort of thing, and you have to play a little bit of mental arithmetic to then use that cipher to plug in, and then you just make some quick shorthand notes, and boom,
Got it.
you have it translated. So each one doesn't take terribly long. I say it's more getting that cross-reference, and once you have a cross-reference, it's much like reading just a journal entry.
Okay.
So we'll say that each one of these is taking about 15 minutes, maybe. The long one with the lyrics in it, that probably took like a half an hour just to get all the lyrics right, but just because it was longer.
What was the first one? The Maladons one? It was built towards the most recent deceased gentleman or an animal. What are the conditions when that happened?
For Maladin's Hangman's Noose, it didn't mention any effect on the user. Now, whether maybe it's just simply unknown, or maybe there is no effect on the user.
Well, my uncle said with all these things, shouldn't be used
Hey,
by-
Steve, we can barely hear
I
you.
can barely hear you.
Yeah.
My microphone fell down in the middle of this. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So my uncle said that all this stuff comes with, he wrote that all these things come, that we shouldn't toy with them casually.
Right.
They come,
Already learned that lesson.
and like a lot of things of power, it comes with cost. So if the cost is just fatigue, that's fine. But if it's a little bit of your eternal soul, probably we should be careful.
Not so good. Yeah.
I mean, if it's Walt's soul, that's different. Like a,
Hey,
a
that's
valuable
for,
soul.
that's for sale.
Like a saintly man like Christopher Barnett.
Who can read?
Can read, we just discovered. All right. Hey, is there anything about the newspapers in the ledgers?
Okay, so give me another roll there, Ed.
Okay.
Edward.
Regular success.
Okay. Yeah, it does actually list the newspapers as, part of the items. It lists newspapers as untranslatable newspapers from reputable sources, and that's all.
Well, we can vouch to that.
Speaking of which, so Walt, you made your way kind of upstairs and maybe sipping from a flask and puffing away at a cigaratello, kind of going.
Yep.
Um,
By the way, I did that because I thought it would be safe. But okay.
Damn
it.
Chris and Vance, so you all flip through your respective newspaper.
Got a headache, put them down, and asked Vance, you want to join me for a drink?
Okay, Vance, what are your thoughts?
I've had plenty to drink. I figure what I'll probably do is I'll pick up one of the papers that one of the others had already looked at and try to see if it keeps doing the same thing to my eyes.
Okay. In total, there's looks like there's 13 or 14 newspapers here. Do you just randomly pick up either?
I'll just randomly pick up another.
Just any one that Walt and Chris were doing, or just another one?
Just flip through the stack and one that feels like it's the one to read, just by chance.
Okay, well let me give you some titles of newspapers, and perhaps one will strike your fancy.
Okay.
Walt was reading the one from the Raleigh Times.
Yeah.
There is a now, mind you, newspapers back then were not like the big, thick newspapers.
No, they were short, small little things.
They were typically like maybe 2 or 3 pages, gatefolded together. Sometimes they were literally just one large page printed on both sides. These are not big tomes or anything. So we have the Raleigh Times, the New York City Post, Washington Post, New York Times, London Times, Chester County Times. That's the one that I think you were reading that one, right?
Yeah.
The Civil War News, the Manchester Leader, that's Manchester, Massachusetts, not Manchester, United Kingdom. The Daily Austin, Harper's Weekly, the Willimantic Journal, and the Richmond Extra, and the Richmond Extra.
The Willimantic Journal?
Okay, you pick up the Willimantic Journal. Printed in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
August 20th, 1866. Sorry, 1865.
1865.
It seems like it's the front splashes in what you barely perceive before you get your freaking headache again. It's in really, really big font. I mean, it's very excited.
Just 3.
But you still can't read it. Give me a sample, please. Well, I shouldn't say that. Give me a sample, please.
Success.
Success. Lose 2 cents, please.
I'll hollow over. You guys have any luck in translating those untranslatable newspapers?
No, these all seem just to be. Oh, that's 664 now, something, right? They all seem to be just gibberish and giving me headaches, and I'll put them all back in the box, and then I'll go upstairs and probably probably have a smoke with the other guys outside and a drink.
Okay, you get up upper floor, get a little fresh air.
By the way, I
Vance-
should have mentioned that I'm taking my drink upstairs.
Vance is kind of hanging out with Ed and the doctor, though. Just kind of,
Yeah.
you know, he seems a little distracted. Maybe just kind of contemplating what has occurred. And Christopher, you get up and join Walt, sort of right at the door that is the front door to the bank, which, by the way, is broken in now, and several of the glass planes
Thanks, Gustav.
looking into the lobby from the boardwalk and street are also broken, some by bullet hole.
There metal bars on the windows.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Right.
But bullet hole, bullets don't care about bars.
I'm gonna. So is the door repairable? Oh, I'm not up there.
You're not up there.
Feel free to repair that, boys. Thanks.
I mean, for expediency, you can put, a chunk of wood up there because you still have the back door. But, all right, Christopher, you join Walt. Vance, you'll be up there in just a moment or two. And what else would you like to do? We're translating. Chris and Walt. Anything to talk about?
We should go get dinner.
Yeah, I was thinking so. Thanks, Doc. Actually, probably since I probably need to prepare some notes for my talk tomorrow about Walt's Danger 6 and the brief invasion of the Mud People. Tying them biblically to those who come from the dust shall return to the dust.
That's probably a good angle to take.
Yeah.
And it occurs to you as you take some notes, you might say sort of like, let's not mention that I recognized one of them as a town folk.
That was Bart, and he looked better.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. That might be ill-advised.
But it should get you thinking a little bit, though.
Yeah, don't be buried. If I die before Gustav, don't be buried anywhere near him.
Have you told anybody that you recognized one of them?
Nope.
Okay. So Vance, you join Walt and Chris upstairs. Doctor and Ed, you guys are kind of finishing that translation of the newses, just to kind of try to time it all together. If the three of you have nothing particular to exchange, we will continue and advance forward the clock.
All right.
All right.
It's the clock.
Yeah.
Advancing the clock. Some hunger is certainly striking you all. You've done some manual labor. You've done some strange thinking labor. Do you want to go somewhere for foodage, or do you want yet more food delivered?
I want to go somewhere for food.
Yeah,
I
let's
want to
get
get away from this stuff.
Yes. Yes. Because there was a brief minute or two when we thought we were going to die horribly in a basement.
Are you kidding me? Look at this, man.
Kind of weighed in on you a little bit.
I had, let's see here. I had that all ready to go.
Oh, that would have been fun.
So,
Not a lot of maneuvering space there.
even
But
the,
it would have bottled them up pretty well.
the table and two chairs, some of the pallets that your stuff came in. There's some boxes. I had it all ready to go. So,
You're laughing just a little too free and easy.
I thought it was going to be funny because Gustav didn't mention that he said anything about hey, that whole they're going to obey me kind of thing. While he was running the character, so I was like, okay, well, I got to wait until somebody else makes some sort of reference
Yeah.
to that before I can insert it. And
Yay.
luckily it did happen, or you guys absolutely would have been in a very confronted gunfight. Um, and one of you might have eventually noticed that they were all basically just pressing in on Gustav.
Let's throw Gustav in the corner and see what happens.
That's right. But yeah, so I had about 22 miniatures set aside.
Oh no.
Sorry that we ruined your plan.
Those are easy to put together in part. That's why I 3D printed the damn things. But it would have been amusing. Okay, so you head out for some footage. Standard fare, you going high ritzy again? Do you not care?
Standard fare is fine.
Standard fare? Okay.
Well, for me, I don't know what you guys want to pay for.
Okay, you pick up some food, kind of refresh, reflect a little bit. When you leave, the sheriff goes, "Are we in the clear now?"
Yeah, until Gustav
Oh,
does
yeah.
something stupid.
We're fine, Sheriff. We cleared it all. We cleaned it all up.
All right, that's good to know. So we shouldn't be expecting any more visitors.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay, and the sheriff kind of goes, "All right, I'm probably gonna have to fill out a report on this of some sort. If one of y'all could maybe swing by, maybe tomorrow afternoon, just kind of fill in some just general details. Nothing breaks your privacy or anything, but
I'll do it.
And we'll send Walt over to you.
It's kind of in my wheelhouse. And by the way, I will be speaking in church tomorrow a little bit about our reflections on what happened and how man comes from the dust and returneth to the dust.
return to that. Okay, very good, very good. You might also consider maybe making a sweep through some of the saloons tonight and kind of drop some earwigs that
I'll be talking. That,
yeah, just
there'll be an explanation of what happened for the curious.
yeah, and that way, if you keep it, if you use the KISS system to keep it simple, any retellings won't get too blown up.
I can really pack the pews tomorrow.
True.
All right, that sounds like a winning plan. Plus, I can drink at these establishments, so everybody wins.
True. Is that what you're going to do with the evening, you think?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. It's probably a little early to hit the bar circuit. We just ate, so actually, I'll probably spend an hour kind of jogging, writing down notes for my update to the sheriff, and then what I plan on my 30-second pitch for the masses in the bars, and then a little more detailed notes on what I'm going to talk about in the pulpit.
Okay.
Will probably keep me busy this evening.
Give me what's your literary skill?
I mean, my journalism skill.
Your journalism skill. There you go. Go ahead and give that a rolly do.
Give the what the hell can I find to do?
Good news is
All right.
his public speaking is crap.
Oh, shit, where's my character sheet? Why can I find it? Damn, did I must have closed it by accident. Shit. Journalism. Yeah, you know what? Journal. That's not too bad. I'm gonna invest a few some luck points into that because I really want it to go well. And make my skill. I missed it by a little bit, but can I do that for? I can use luck on that, right?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll use 15. I'll use 15 points of luck on that one because I'm gonna do a good job.
Okay. What does that make your end result roll?
a normal success.
Oh, okay, all right.
I missed it by like 10, so I'll put 15 into it. Not feeling too inspired, but should be good enough. And of course, maybe I'll wing it tomorrow, make another roll, and I tap into my persuade or tail bearing or whatever it is. Notes are one thing, but it's actually bringing it home.
That's true.
One where it could seek inspiration or fail miserably. Because I've also seen people really take notes and do a great job, and people take notes and really shit the bed. So
on when you do the sermon speech, it will probably be a persuade roll.
got it.
But okay. So you start kind of taking notes, and you're kind of you're eating while everybody else is eating and such like that. But
Clearly, his mind is elsewhere.
yeah. The rest of y'all, you have an evening in front of you. What would you like to do? Outside of potentially securing up the front door of the bank a little bit better.
Who wants to play trumpet and sing?
Well, I asked the group, where was that store that you all went at? Because that's a fine jacket.
It is a fine. In fact, I'm gonna have to make sure. Thank you for that reminder. I'm gonna probably look very parsonish. Kind of channel my inner parson on my jacket look tomorrow. Thank you. Was it Gilmore? Was that the name?
Yeah. Gilmore's Glorious Goods.
Just be prepared when you go in there. Time will just fly by.
It does feel that way when you go in there.
I'll mosey over that way just to see if it's still open at night, and if not, I'll check it out the following day.
Okay. Christopher, you got something in mind for the evening? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, other than a meal, I think I'll investigate possibly some new clothes. These are getting a little trail worn.
Standard new clothes or Gilmore's clothes?
Yeah, Gilmore's got to look fancy.
Fair enough.
Put money on the wall for mowing.
Pardon?
Did you put money on the wall for mowing?
For lice, yes.
Okay.
Doctor and Edward, what would
I
you
gave
like
him an
to
extra
do?
$5 even.
I don't know, Doctor. What are you up for?
I would like to play some poker.
You'd like to play some poker.
I think I would like to do something normal.
I'll tag along.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
I think
yeah.
I've dabbled with the odd and obscure enough for the day.
Vance seems to really like that idea, especially since he has some skill in gambling. So,
And Gustav.
Gustav.
oh, sorry. Yeah, Gustav. Sorry.
Gustav can come along. I might even let him win.
Right. So this says 285, is that
All
correct?
right. Let's see. So,
Down here.
in general, Edward and
Yes.
Doctor, give me
Oh, no, 286.
4 consecutive gambling rolls.
Asking for money.
I am terrible at
No, he
gambling,
just
but
said
I'd
he
like to
doesn't
get
have
better.
much cash.
I'm not good at it, but I'm enthusiastic.
You have 286.
First one, I spend 6 luck points to make it.
Yes, is it really gambling when you?
I make 1 success out of 4 tries.
Out of 4? Okay. Edward, how do you do?
Hang on. Okay. That's interesting. I actually I spent the 6 luck points on 1, and then I got 2 successes out of 4, shockingly. But I would have only had 1 if I had spent luck points.
Purple case.
So over the course of the evening, and a couple drinks and such, by the time you're starting to round out your evening, you've largely broke even.
We go through it.
So you're fairly pleased with that. Doctor, you've lost a couple
20.
bucks. Gotta remember, a couple bucks back in this time zone is, more than just a couple bucks if you were to, but nothing shocking, since you didn't have any, well, you didn't at least mention that you had any like super critical failures. You didn't have any like 95s or anything like that.
No, I had like a 75 out of 15. So
Okay.
there was one round where I gambled, where I probably pushed my luck a little more than I ought to have.
Gustav actually came out ahead by the end of the evening, although he's saying that he's feeling a bit fatigued and wanting to maybe head to bed a little bit earlier than what you'd think a semi-professional gambler would on a Saturday evening, especially when his friends are out also gambling. But he has made a couple bucks, which he's fairly pleased with. So that's where the gambling portion went. Walt, you start after you make your notes and again pleasantly digest food. You start making your rounds through the various watering holes. Again, not being obtrusive with your storytelling, as it were. More, I say, you're kind of dropping hints that it wasn't as bad as maybe some of the freaked out initial population, saying no, it was and such. Make me sort of a general persuade roll, please.
Hold on. I definitely succeeded. I want to see if it's a success. I'm pretty good at persuading. Yeah, that's a hard success.
Okay. You're feeling pretty good about.
I like my chances.
Yeah.
Come see the master at work.
As you come to the Boar's Head.
The really interesting place with
the classic.
with part building, part tent.
Yeah,
that exudes class.
It does exude lots and lots of class. But you come across your favorite person.
Oh, the drunk.
Yeah.
The drunk who had a run-in with the person whose family is gone and whose house was rebuilt after he called down a demon and fire consumed the house. For which we still haven't gone into the basement.
Allegedly.
I'd like to do that.
Foolishly wrote that down as opposed
You
to
allegedly hadn't gone in the basement.
Well, in fairness, I had already lost my nerve and was outside on the horse, making sure everything was safe from the outside.
He was scared.
I was a little bit unnerved.
Unmanned. He was unmanned.
Not all of us can be sack shooters.
So he sees you. He seems a little blurry-eyed, but that seems to be his current state of affairs.
It's his default.
You've been out there. You must have seen it. And his hand's starting to get a little twitchy near his holster.
Okay, friend, I'm going to kind of turn sideways and in my best fast talk, which is a much more quick skill, I'm gonna basically try to distract him and say like sheriff, and then I'm going to kind of move so if his gun's on his left hip, then I'm gonna basically move to his right, so he'd have to like draw and like. I'm trying to fast talk / maneuver, so even if he draws, I'll have to jump on him.
Give me a dex roll, please.
Frickin' 3.
Okay.
Can I do the bullet? Can I do the bullet time?
I rolled a 0.8,
Ooh,
which means we both get extreme successes.
damn.
quick.
When did I be? It's Walt's danger 6, not like Walt is in danger 6 times a day. Come on. Okay. I'm not a fighter. All right.
Walt, from now on, will take a gunman with him.
Due to his perhaps somewhat inebriated state, though, I will let you roll a fast talk roll.
Whoa, there, friend.
Oh yeah, I'm going to well, I made it. It was a normal success. There's nothing. In fact, I didn't make it by a lot, but I did make it on a normal success. Would it help to burn points on? No, yeah, I'm going to I'll go ahead and burn another 25 points to bring that down to a hard success, hard fast talk, and be really pissed that I can't roll good when I need it, because now there's actually my danger. I'm in danger.
Danger.
And your luck's lowish.
Yeah, it is getting a little lowish. It's pretty good to start. So yeah, you're right. That my luck
Okay.
is down to 51.
Well,
Yep. No, actually.
holy shit.
Alright. Oh man, I came across the drunk ninja warrior on his best night of his life. This is not good for me.
I rolled a 0-4 to detect your bullshit.
Oh,
Okay. Okay. Well, in that case, I think we're.
So
I think
that's an extreme success, defeating your hard.
yeah. Okay. So I
okay.
think we just skipped to go time. Forget he like what was it 03 and then he's just like. Oh.
So
This is how Walt goes. In the fucking boar's head. Okay. Let's okay. What do we do here? Okay, so clear. All right. Well, you tell me what. Remember, I was also trying to maneuver. So regardless,
yeah, you did. A little
I
bit
was
of maneuvering.
moving. I was maneuvering. So it's not going to be. I'm not making it easy for him, regardless.
You do not have fast roll or anything, correct?
Uh,
I don't think.
would that be what quick draw? Is that the skill
Yeah.
here? I think I used to, but it's not. I don't. Not on this skill set. Nope.
Okay.
I do have a sleight of hand of 25.
Now, if you had some of that cool magic stuff.
Well,
All right, that didn't do him any good. All right. You notice he does. He shouts, "Why haven't you killed it?" as he draws his gun to shoot at you.
well, I mean, I said my hands on my gun and I was turning away and paralleling. So we're basically moving in parallel right now. I mean, we're basically doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In which case, how do we proceed?
Well, it requires an action to draw your weapon.
Okay.
It probably at some point in time in the past did not require an action for him to draw his weapon, but at his state of nerves, it appears as though he fumbles with his gun a little bit, so you draw at more or less the same time. So now we'll start with an actual combat dex calculation. So
Okay.
let's see here. What's
I've got a pretty good dex.
I think it's what dex plus 50, something like that, and then yeah.
that's quick shot is dex plus 50 for the first shot.
Okay.
Normal. We were just going off of the normal dex.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought.
So what do we do? Do I roll my
Well,
dex?
if you have
basically?
quick shot, you get your dex plus 50 for the first shot,
Right.
which means you go first.
Which means I don't.
Almost
but I-
invariably. Yeah.
I don't have that. So
So roll your dex.
all right. So I want to roll high or low because I'm rolling against my dex.
You still want to go low.
See.
Let me guess, 86.
No. No, but it's a 66 and my dex is 70, so normal success.
Normal success.
Damn it.
Okay.
Fucking stop rolling high. I'm about to change dice.
Roll your firearm skill.
That'd be an 11.
Yes. Wow, 40 and I rolled a 40. Okay, I mean, so I basically rolled a straight on the money without anything adjusted.
Barely nicked him.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Roll your damage. I assume this is with your lightning.
Dude,
Yes.
what the hell are you doing shooting people?
Shut up. 6.
Roll a 6. Okay.
Remember my jacket. I am wearing my cool jacket though.
That's true, but you didn't adjust it for any particular temp or light conditions.
I thought it was inherently protective, provided some protection.
Oh, that's true as well. But you didn't shade
You
your.
guys get into a gunfight at the boar's nest with the town drunk, okay?
Uh,
Forgive me.
he wildly misses. I mean, he wildly misses. And he takes the shot in his shoulder, immediately goes down onto the ground. And pretty much you have a free action. You could continue to shoot.
I will
he is
step on
prone.
his gun. I will step on his gun head,
And
hit the double action, put it right to his forehead, and say, "Don't move." I'm trying to step on his gun hand so he can't friggin' pull. So
He doesn't look like he's interested in going for his gun anymore. He actually starts crying. He's in a fair amount of pain. You hit him in the sort of upper quad shoulder, and he's bleeding. It's
Because if it was the Wild West, you'd still be rolling. Is it the left arm? Is it the upper? Is it the obtuse? Is it distal or proximal? Okay. All right. Yay,
armor
simplicity.
intervening factors. Were you?
Thank
moving
you,
with
Shane
him?
fucking Lacey, whatever the hell your
Yeah.
last name was.
Um,
Okay, well, I assume there's an audience now.
Certainly, yeah. Pretty much every people have almost immediately flocked out from the Boar's Head, and say the Boar's Head is it's not a tucked away place. It's fairly close on the main strip of the town. So a couple other people sort of saw the exchange, and it looks like one person's already running to the sheriff. Give me a dumb luck with advantage.
Well, with advantage. Well, okay, with advantage, that's 09.
09, excellent.
Because it's a 69, but I made it 09 the second time. Dumb.
Um,
I'm gonna check all these skills.
this
I'm making
was
some
a
rolls
sort of
today.
a general, even though the lighting conditions were not particularly in your favor, perhaps the swinging doors of the saloon, and they do light some lights on the boardwalks at night on like Friday nights and Saturday nights at least. You already hear that oh, that was defensive. That was a defensive, so you're already hearing people kind of cue in with a chorus that your hit on the guy was a legit a defensive maneuver. So you're feeling like, okay, I got this guy under
I
control.
still got a pretty good persuade too. So if it was going south, I'd be like,
that's true.
but you know what? In this case, I'm just gonna keep my. I'm gonna actually grind my hand into his hand so it hurts a little bit too. Not gonna be
What
like,
you're-
"Ugh." I mean, I want him to feel it, and that gun's right up against his temple, and I'll say, let's just wait for the sheriff.
Okay, I say he's sobbing and basically said, I thought you were going to kill the devil. I thought for sure you were going to take care of it. He's still there, though. I checked. He's still there. And he starts sobbing again.
Okay. I've got my best mean look from the guy from Justified. The gun with a hand on him, like,
Timothy
Olyphant. Oliphant.
Oliphant,
You
yeah.
just why don't you just sob to the sheriff?
Very shortly, the sheriff comes out and comes up.
I'll
sees the
immediately
situation.
take my gun, put it away, but I'm gonna keep my hand on I'm gonna keep standing on his
Yeah.
wrist.
He says, "Well, you should probably call your doctor, friend." And he pulls out. Say, handcuffs did exist back then. They were kind of sucky, but they did exist back then.
So does
And he
pistol whip.
he starts cuffing the guy, and he looks up and he says, "O'Brien, gather up just a couple confessionals. Make sure it went down the way that Timothy told us it did. Evidently, Timothy was one who ran into the
I'll
sheriff's
be like,
office.
Sheriff, you attacked me.
Well, that's what it sounds like. We just want to make sure we got enough people to confirm it.
I hope he didn't hit anyone. He just took a wild shot. I didn't see where he even went.
Well, we'll find that out soon enough too, I suppose.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess I guess I'll be seeing Dr. Trout sooner than I thought.
Yeah. I mean, this was, you first, you hit the nicer places first. So this was later.
Yeah, I would have definitely gone there last.
Yeah.
In fairness, that
Yeah.
would have definitely been I would have started nice and went low.
And let's put you on hold there, and let's go
All right.
back to Vance and
good.
Christopher.
Just one note, we're 5 minutes from 9.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So you guys had did you all know where Gilmore's was beforehand? I'm just curious.
Well, that's why we asked.
Okay. Yeah. I just didn't know if so you start making your way by the verbal directions. 1 second, check on something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, that works. Right. Okay. Both of you give me a arcane knowledge roll.
I am going to spend 15 luck points to get that to a success.
You mean an
fair.
area knowledge, right? Not an arcane knowledge.
No, arcane knowledge.
That's something I don't have.
Oh, you don't have it all.
I
Okay,
do.
fair. Yeah, you don't have that yet. That's right. Okay,
Right.
so you guys are walking, and you got the directions, whatever. And Christopher, you go, huh? Can't believe I never saw that before. It is a well-lit front, to the building, painted in some sort of garishy sort of purples and golds, lit well beyond what you normally would see, like in front of even a good tavern or saloon. And the lighting doesn't flicker; it's steady state lighting. You're surprised enough where you mention it to Vance. Just, look at that. Vance, you have no idea what the fuck he was talking about.
Well, look at what?
You don't see this. Large, well lit, garish building right there. And I'll point at where I see it.
You see a remarkably average storefront frontage, looking much like the general store or basically every other store in this town. A plain sign, it does say Gilmore's Glorious Goods on it, but otherwise plain. There's some light coming out from the display window, but outside of that, nothing particularly interesting.
It's not really bright, but yeah, I guess that's it over there.
You're not. That's certainly odd. Well, I guess let's head in.
Mean looking
And
store to me.
you open the doors, and at least for the time second, everything that I describe for you, Vance, the visuals and the smells are going to be much more muted for you than for Christopher. So, Chris, you enter well lit, nicely painted. The floors are certainly smoother, and the boards are tighter than pretty much certainly any other building in this town outside of maybe the cell in the sheriff's office and perhaps in like the Grand Hotel and so some of the real ritzy places. But Um, there's a smell of incense in the air. Um, there are nice non-glass involved little wind chimes that are chiming, even though there's no wind, but they're making that nice little ticka 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 kind of noise. Um,
Are these similar to the wind chimes that I've seen on a couple of buildings, not only here, but in Etna?
they are similar, but these ones don't have any apparent glass or crystal in them. Um, and a darker toned man in very almost garish robes and sort of silks. You'd almost think like this would be like the mayor's uh, boudoir clothing or something along those lines. Um, he's got a very well trimmed, almost perfect to a point mustache and uh, a pointed sort of goatee, sort of Randolph kind of thing. Uh, razor cut sharp. I mean, it's real tight. And welcome. We have some late people here tonight. How
Yes,
you all doing?
we are doing well. Friends of ours directed us to this rather remarkable establishment.
Well, thank you. Oh, he looks at Vance for a moment and kind of does this with his fingers, and all of a sudden, everything brightens up for you there, Vance. It looks so much nicer. The incense punch is almost offensive to you. Things get brighter. Perhaps there was some gas lighting that maybe somebody turned up the gas a bit to lighten things up a bit better. It's well built.
Does he smell like a painted lady?
Now you see what I've been talking about there, Vance?
Yeah, I guess I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe my eyes are just getting bad in my age.
Don't worry, dear. You'll be fine. That style of talk is peculiar to you. And so, looking about, there are various curious things in glass display cases. Not like modern day, like you'd see it like a Macy's, a big square thing. These are all sort of angled desks that have sort of lift up glass kind of thing. More like maybe what you'd see at like a jewelry store. Those kind of display cases, a little bit like an old timey jewelry store kind of thing. There are a few sort of curiosities. You see a set of 3 daggers setting on hanging on a wall that appear to be balanced on a pin nail stuck into the wall, and they're just simply balanced hanging on the wall. A good chunk of the items you don't really particularly recognize right off the top of your head that are in the display cases. You see what looks like a briefcase with a scattering of various paper notations. You see, again, a somewhat predominantly strange amount of basically kind of handheld weapons, like again, daggers, that sort of thing. You see a couple rings. You see, you see a very ornate lantern. You see, there's a couple sort of coat racks, sort of behind the display cases, and you see a set of robes somewhat similar to like what this fellow's wearing, And you do see a duster jacket very similar to what Walt has
nice.
recently acquired. It is of a different cut in general, but it is um, a duster still. It's just a different style cutting of a duster. Um, and you see it also in the display cases. Excuse me. Quite a few different um, vials, much like the vials that you just recently unpacked. Um, and the fella, evidently Mr. Gilmore or Mr. Glorious, perhaps, um, seems content on letting you kind of look at things, and he's just sitting there, sort of pleasantly smiling.
All right, well, I'll just browse about.
You almost get the impression that the displays are more to catch your attention, to start a conversation, than it is more sort of a bulk sales.
Okay. I sent you a link of the things that I would be
Right.
looking
Okay.
for.
So yes, as I say, there are rings.
There are
You get the
7 for the dwarf
impression
lords.
that um, there is some tailoring done here. You see, for instance, a male and female tailor mannequins.
And
I guess they're called.
Mannequins? Yeah.
I guess the half mannequin kind of things. That,
Yeah.
So you get the impression that things certainly could be made, but you don't see like on hand like you would at a haberdashery or anything like that.
Okay.
But there are a couple rings. Most of them look very plain, almost like what would typically be like a male wedding ring. So non-ornated rings.
Okay.
And Christopher, of course, you see all this as well. So, is there anything in particular that you're interested in?
well, my good sir, my clothes, my shirts, and the pants have been pretty much worn on the trip to this town and throughout the towns. I'm in need a new, just everyday wardrobe, couple of shirts, couple of pants. Well, that is a fine looking duster over there. Mine's getting a little bit worn as well. So I'm wondering if you have anything in stock like that or can tailor something to my needs.
Oh, we can tailor. I can tailor.
Mm.
Pretty much anything that you need, pretty much any material that you wish. Um, Everything is very specially crafted here.
I don't need anything too fancy. It's something that just aids or helps in my profession. I like to keep things a little bit not too tight, not too loose, able to move around in quickly and quietly if need be.
Well, do you mind if I inquire as to what specifically your occupation is?
I'm a bounty hunter.
Bounty hunter.
Goodness.
Quietness. I would imagine quiet is very important to your particular trade.
Yes, yes, it is.
Would something like spurs or boots that didn't announce your presence be something to your liking?
That would be ideal.
Yes. Now, at this time, strangely enough, in sizings of clothing, especially things like shoes and such, you didn't have like sizes 8s and 10s
Mhm.
and such like that. You pretty much had small, medium, and large as sort of a rough kind of thing, and hopefully sort of off the shelf would, relatively speaking, fit you, and you might kind of stuff toes and stuff like that. Um, um, Hence why there were shoemakers and such back then, and they would truly tailor fit shoes, and that's why armies had such terrible times with gout and things like that. Not gout, but uh, foot issues
Mm.
when they had shoes at all. A lot of the Southerners early off in the war weren't even issued shoes um, or boots. Um, so um, Gilmore inquires. So boots, riding, I assume, riding boots. Yes.
Yes. Some riding are good, something that's also comfortable walking around.
Do you have a preference in style and you know standard leathers? Something more exciting?
Standard leathers, kind of what I'm wearing right now, would be quite fine.
Kind of cranes over.
Not
Hmm.
not red velvet.
Something
Yeah.
that can blend in.
Definitely red velvet.
Red velvet.
No,
Is it?
you'll be the you'll be the red velvet killer. I'm just saying.
Be tempting. Yes, I understand. You need to blend in with everybody. Yes, yes. That's of course a backhand diss on your shoes a little bit, but what can you do? One moment, and he um, goes into what evidently a back room. The curtain that he passes by um, um, kind of brushes through with a flourish and then very quickly closes up. You don't hear like a magnetic little, but it closes and doesn't wave much when he goes in the back, and you hear no, no, and about a minute later he comes out with a pair of basically in better repair, not not quite new look um, boots that pretty much look like your boots insofar as the style and fitting and such. Um, and he goes, uh, what size do you typically? Are you a large-footed man, a very large-footed man?
Yeah,
You hold up your hand, and I can make a guess if you want to put your hand. No,
Fingers.
large-ish.
largish. Well, these are large. Why don't you go over there? And he points to a small table and chair, and he hands you a pair of boots that when you pick them up, you were expecting them to be a bit heavier than what they feel like. They're a bit lighter, but feel well constructed. And he indicates basically that you should try them on for fit and see if they need adjustment.
That's what I will do.
Vance?
You say you can make things. There's something I've always wanted. Always wanted a nice black vest with silver buttons on it.
Well, black goes with almost everything. Do you like
most of my clothing is black?
right? Pinstriped or just all black?
Midnight black, kind of like Shroud of Death.
Shroud of Death. Washington
gives-
D.C. Federal black. And
Pinkerton black.
Pinkerton black, yes.
Pinkertons.
Is there anything particular that you are interested in insofar as outside of course, a fine fit, beautiful cloth, and a perfect coloring? Is there anything else about such a vest that would intrigue you? Tell me what you do.
Well, you could say that I take care of issues with my irons.
Ah,
Some would say that I'm more or less a gunslinger.
a gunslinger. Dangerous work.
Well, I was
Just ask
trained,
Walt.
taught by one of the best.
Perhaps a vest that would be protective just in case you came across somebody who was near your skills at the firearms.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it could have like I guess you would make it out of a more of a leather and maybe have like little plates or something you put into it. I've heard people
Trust me,
doing that.
the cloth I use is very tightly woven. You won't notice a thing.
Kevlar.
Will it have a place for a pocket watch?
Oh yes, and change too. Let me get a sample of the cloth. I'll let you take it. Give it a whirl with your firearms, perhaps tomorrow, and see if that intrigues you or not.
All right.
I know black often is the color of suiting of death, but you might find this a little contrapositive to that. And then again, he goes back into his back office, and you hear a little bit of rumbling around and things and such.
I'll turn to Barnett at one point and go, counter. What did you say? Counter what?
You get a strange whiff of ozone, like a lightning strike. It just happened, but there's no thunderclap at all.
Rain's coming.
And he emerges from his back room, and it's really just a cloth patch about maybe 10 inches square.
All right.
And you feel it, and it's very very fine cloth. You would kind of consider it in your head, Sunday finest style cloth. And he suggests, "I'm sorry, I don't have a shooting range, but I'm sure you're an accurate shootist. I suggest putting this up against something. Probably not tonight. Don't want the gunfire to rouse the neighbors."
There's already been enough gunfire in town tonight.
Yes, what was that all about?
Dude.
Come to church and I'll tell everything.
Yeah, strange things came about, and it was resolved.
Oh,
We're going to have a friend of ours explain it to the people of the town at church tomorrow.
Do you two consider yourselves resolvers of things?
Yes.
Here comes a work opportunity.
That's normally what we take care of.
It's kind of in my job description.
Interesting situations.
Interesting. Well, now mind you, my work does not come particularly inexpensively, as hence why I don't have as much foot traffic as I would like. But my store in Dodge is doing perhaps a little bit better, but I don't like the hustle and bustle of Dodge too much. But if we could possibly make an arrangement for, shall we say, hate to use the word discount, but I will, in exchange for not so much the doing of anything, but exchanges of information. Information has value too, as well.
All
I'm amenable to that.
Yeah.
I would totally understand if you need to consult with anybody else.
Well, what kind of information do you need, and where do you need it from?
Oh, nothing specific. Really more general information about what is going on as dealing with the strange or out of place.
It's on our cards.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that we could regale you with some tales. Just,
authenticity is definitely would be part of the contract, but that can be confirmed.
Yeah, I'm sure that we could be more than happy to share some information like that.
Well, if that's agreeable, then we could also agree to, as I say, a mutual understanding of price negotiations for material goods received and given.
All right.
In other words, you'll get you a discount.
Ah.
And he hands you the sample of cloth for you to test out. The shoes do not quite fit. They are not quote unquote magical shoes that automatically conform to your foot size. But they are a bit loose on you, so you need them a little bit tighter. But you walk around, and you are very used to the sound of your footsteps, right? Uh, Lord knows, especially with a tracker, very much so. You can discern that you're walking about, but the noise is much like if you were walking around on one of those carpets from Egypt, or you haven't walked around on a lot of carpeting. Maybe some rugs here and there, right? But not like full super squishy carpet. And that's what the noise is making while you walk around on the wood. Gilmore smiles as he sees you walking by. It's like, oh, trust me, it's not the floors that aren't making the noise. Feel free, go take a stroll.
That's what
How
I
they
feel. A little loose, but this is
As
intriguing.
you say that, as you kind of step out, he says, "Oh, we'll cobble them correct. It'll take a day or two, but we can do it." And you step outside, and you kind of get away from the again peculiar brightish lighting of this in the back store frontage. And sure enough, even as you're walking along on the boardwalk, which would normally make ka-thump, 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 ka-thump. The only again, it's very muted. The only thing that's maybe kind of makes you kind of go, maybe not perfect, is where you're familiar with the loose boards that maybe squeak almost every single time when you walk on. It still physically squeaks because that's a function of the board, right? So it's like, okay, it's not. This isn't creating some sort of whatever cloud of silence around me or anything like that. It just seems that somehow these shoes are they're the Bose noise canceling shoes of the 1870s. And it being 9:22, I think we'll wrap up there. So we wrap up with Edward and the good doctor finishing some gambling with Walt getting into his first mano-a-mano gunfight.
And winning.
And surviving.
In public.
So when he fights against a washed up drunk, he wins.
80% of the time,
Full
I win
marks,
every
right?
time. When he's a washed up drunk.
And Chris and Vance possibly making some what will be probably fairly expensive, but now possibly not quite as expensive purchases. And Vance has last little bit. Gustav has dozed off in the I guess wherever you guys were gambling. Where were you guys? Where did you guys end up gambling?
I don't remember.
Is that the normal place?
Yeah, the place that we used to go gamble before we got into all these adventures.
Okay, so just basically back at the gem kind of thing.
Sure.
All right, give me 1 second. Scroll something around here. Scroll. Now you two have not been around Gustav too much when he goes into his
Avengers.
supposedly nightmares, excuse me, and such. Uh, but he doesn't necessarily seem to be in a nightmare fugue per se, but um, he just kind of repeats over and over again. The first one fires like a cannon. The first fires like a cannon. Kind of over and over again, and he finally kind of again kind of looks up to y'all and says, "Y'all done? I'm exhausted."
Yeah, yeah. Let's head home. Let's head back.
All right.
Okay, and that's where I think we'll go ahead and leave it for the evening.
So 2 weeks.
Yep.